before I start. First off, and it's funny because one of the other traders that I actually follow just said this, and something that I happen to agree with. It's the penny plays. Jesse, is that you? You might be having the same issue that Tommy had. Sounds like somebody's getting kicked out. But anyway, penny plays are typically the last stocks to start ripping as you're getting pretty close to the end of a rip-roaring bull market, and that is definitely Jesse having an issue. Okay, I have to explain to Jesse to get in touch with Join Me. Hold on one second. Instead, all right. So the pennies, being that the pennies are flying, it could be an indication that we are nearing the end of this bull run. And I already told you guys yesterday that I am thinking that, the Fed rate hike next week, if we get that, and then Trump getting into office, actually that could be the end, or that could bring this little run to the end. But we'll see. More strong action today. Log. Russell actually sent me a little message. This G-Log, Russell sent me a private message to ask me to take a look at what do I think, and it's got a pretty nice looking wedge on the daily. NAT, which, I wanted to take that for a swing, and A1, you were just talking about this earlier. You find a lot of times you're just not looking at the stock right at the right time. And, next thing you know, it goes. So I think, hold on a second here. Of course, this is going to freeze up on me because that's what it does. All right. Hold on a second here. There we go. NAT, I actually, it's kind of my bad on this one because I wanted a gap fill on this. So, I kept looking at it, and, I had that letter from the CEO, but I wanted this gap fill. It pulled to 850 and held. It got a little bit of a bounce there, and I took my eye off this thing, and now look at it. It went without me. This is now the third day of the run. So the thing, what classifies a penny stock? Well, anything that's flirting around with $1, right? $1 or below is a penny stock. I don't consider a stock that's over $1 heading $5. I don't consider that a yeah, Jesse. you're clicking on it through the browser, and that's what's causing your problem. You have to go to joinme.com and download the app to your computer. If you can hear me, I don't know if you can hear me or not. But okay, so this happened. So you know, what do I do now with Nat? Hold on a second. Hello? He's not here. May I ask who's calling? Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right. Sorry about that. So, you know, what do I do with NAT now that it's gone? It's popped, right? I mean, I don't want to chase it on the third day of the run, but so what do I want to do? I want to watch this for a potential pullback to an area of support somewhere, maybe down to the 50 EMA. Back down to 920 or so, and see if it pulls back there and holds support. But you know, this becomes more challenging. I mean, right now, pretty easy because the market is rip roaring on fire. If the market rolls over, though, you're going to be battling the market, right? So a pullback to support may not be just a pullback to support, maybe a pullback. A beginning of a pullback that could be much longer. So that's why we always talk about what's going on with the market. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I did do a trade review on that. What was that one that I took today? ITXG or whatever the heck it was. And I sent that video out. Hopefully you guys saw that. IDXG, yeah. But I take you through it, and I actually tried to sell those last shares that I had at $1.25, and didn't trigger. So I wound up holding them overnight. But it's 100 shares. I mean, it's 100 shares. I don't care what happens to that stock. It was a good, nice trade. Made a very nice day. All right, so let's take a look at what happened. So, you know, yesterday I thought maybe we would get a green to red kind of move today. Didn't happen. We got a green and kept going green move today, and maybe we get a follow through of that tomorrow. Tomorrow Friday, heading into the weekend. So one of the things that was asked was about in the room today was about volatility. How come volatility and the markets are kind of not correlated? They're kind of moving in sync. Part of that, and at least from what the Nigerian brothers, and look, I'm no expert with the options and all that stuff, but what they're suggesting is that because the markets have run so much, hold on a second, because the markets have run so much that people are buying protection, right? And that does make sense, right? It does make sense that they would be buying protection. So I mean, it was nice to see this break. I mean, I think all-time highs here for the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at right at the end of the day, which was kind of nice to see, was IBB was getting a little bounce. All right. So, and look at where it bounced to, right? Look at where it we got some noise in the background there. I don't know what's going on. So we filled that gap, right? And man, I got noise everywhere. All right, we filled this gap. We broke down below. Buddy, please stop. This is killing me. We below the lower Bollinger Band yesterday. Wound up closing right here at the gap, right? And today we broke down, we matched this, right? We hit this exact point that we hit yesterday, bounced, and almost closed right at the high of the day. So I don't know if the IBB is trying to put in a bottom here or what, or a little short bottom. Maybe we get a bounce back up to that trend line. But pretty nice little bounce right towards the end of the day in the IBB. IWM. All right, so now we're in the fourth day of this move. Did close nearly at the high of the day. Piercing the upper Bollinger Band. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see if we get a pop, maybe out of the upper Bollinger Band, and then by the end of the day, we're pulling back, right? Maybe tomorrow we get that green to red in the IWM. But, you know, really nice action in the IWM. I mean, this end of year run has really been pretty amazing. Let's take a look at transportation, piercing the upper Bollinger Band. So another sign that maybe we could get a pullback here. Citing related story, Spotify has abandoned attempt to buy SoundCloud. This was reported earlier. Okay. We'll look at that news in a minute. But IYT, wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of a pullback in the IYT. So let's take a look at gold. I really didn't even pay attention at all today to gold. All right, so gold is still underneath the 8 EMA. Still looks like it's kind of, you know, bear flagging. But it is holding up surprisingly well. I will say that, right? It is actually kind of holding up pretty well. But still does not look attractive to me. I see no reason to jump into this early, right? If the market really starts to roll over, if the dollar, you know, really starts to tank and gold gets a good pop, then maybe there's a trade there in JNUG or Nugget. We want to see a real confirmation of reversal, and we have not seen that yet. So for now, it's just a no touch to me. Let's see what else we got. So Labu could be worth watching tomorrow. Close right on top of the 200-day moving average. You know, if we get a continuation of that move, that late day bounce in the IBB, that could be worth watching tomorrow. Have it on your radar. Nugget and JNUG, I mean, they both look the same. Just consolidating. No, we have no reversal of trend yet. SMH moving higher. Now we're up 5 days ago, but still well within the Bollinger Band, right? And we actually broke above and closed above 72. So pretty impressive 5-day move in the SMH. I mean, it does look like, you know, it could take a breather here, but also because of the fact that it is well within the Bollinger Band, we could some more action, some more move. I mean, think about all the people that got shook out on this candle, right? I mean, there were some people that got shook out on that candle. I mean, it was over, right? SMH is done, and now it's making all-time highs. So we'll see if that can continue, if it gets any follow through. Let's look at the S&P 500. There were a couple of signs today that maybe, where's that? SPY. All right, so now we've got we're piercing the upper Bollinger Band. Got a candle almost completely out. So again, maybe tomorrow is that day that we get the green to red, because it's Friday, heading into the weekend. You're going to get some people, you know, looking to lock in profits, or should be looking to lock in profits, right? So it would make sense if we got a green to red move tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. This has been a pretty stubborn little market here. Remember what we talked about. You know, there are a lot of hedge fund guys, a lot of money managers that have been they've been positioned wrong for this whole run, and they're coming into the end of the year, and they're trying to play catch up right now. They're chasing stuff for performance. That is what is happening right now. They're chasing stuff for performance, and that's probably a really crappy place to be, I would think, right now. All right, let's see what else we got going on. USO. We talked about yesterday that we could get a little bounce in the USO, and we did, right? Right here to the 8 EMA, tested 11 bucks. We got a little bounce today, closed nearly at the high. Could see this continue to move higher tomorrow if oil can hold up. I still kind of like the energy space, that Seadrill. I didn't catch it today, but did have a nice little bounce today. I hope somebody caught it. Let's see what else we got. Let's take a look at the dollar. So the dollar gapped and held over the 8 EMA. So, you know, still looking fairly strong on the dollar. A lot of people on a lot of talking CNBC talking about the dollar has peaked. You know, I don't know if the dollar has peaked. We'll see. We'll see if the dollar has peaked. It reclaimed the 8 EMA. You know, if the dollar continues to be strong, you know, the thing out of Europe, they did the tightening today, which I think was confusing to some people, but at the same time, it said that, you know, he's got tools at his disposal. So, you know, it was a mixed message, and you know, we'll see how this plays out. But the dollar still looks pretty strong here. And as long as that is the case, you're going to see weakness in gold. All right, so here's another one that's out of the Bollinger Band, right? Financials. So we've got a candle completely out of the upper Bollinger Band, right? And this would make sense for this to be a place for us to get a pullback, right? Let's see if we got a and we have a candle out of the lower Bollinger Band on the 3-time inverse. So this one is actually getting moved up on my radar for tomorrow, right? A reversal in financials tomorrow, this could get a nice little bounce. So, I mean, last time it got completely out of the lower Bollinger Band, it really didn't get a snapback. It just kind of consolidated back into the Bollinger Band and then worked its way down again. But you know, now I'm looking at how far this thing has fallen. It's been fallen from 32 to 21. You know, maybe we get a snapback play here in the finance or in this FAS. All right. So I think that is worth paying attention to. Let's look at volatility real quick. Where are you? So the VIX, you know, that's what kind of candle is that? Anybody know what kind of candle that is? Is that a spinning top candle? I can't remember. But this is kind of interesting, right? If we had some pretty decent range today. If the markets roll over, there could be a trade there in UVXY. Let's see what UVXY did today. Okay, come on. So that had a little bounce right up into the trend line and then pulled back, closed right at the bottom. We'll see. If the markets roll over tomorrow, we could get a little break over that trend line and that 8 EMA. All right, let's look at some sectors. So here's another one that could be signaling that we're getting close, right? So aerospace defense had a little pop and then closed right at the low of the day on a little bit of rising volume there. But a lot of the stocks in the aerospace defense sector were back today. and that's been one of the leading sectors. So could it be signaling that this is coming to an end? It could be. I'm not saying it definitely is, but could be. Home builders piercing the upper Bollinger Band. Let's see, actually 36 likely going to act as price resistance. This is the one, fifth day of the run, so would not be a big shocker if we were to pull back or do a potential, green to red tomorrow. So I don't know if you're sensing this or not, but I'm getting more cautious, right? Look at materials, piercing the upper Bollinger Band, right? Did break over price resistance. Actually, it went up and tagged this area right here, 5160, went and tagged that and then pulled. But we're extended. We are getting extended. So I am definitely getting much more cautious about the markets, right? Especially looking to take long plays, because we just are starting to get a little too far too fast. And we got an event coming up next week that could really rain on the whole parade. So XLE, this actually looks pretty good, right? I mean, it pierced the upper Bollinger Band, worked its way back in, and just kind of grinding higher. If oil stays above 50, likely could continue. XLF, so we got a candle for XLF, which makes sense, completely out of the upper Bollinger Band. So definitely that FAZ or FAS, keep that on your radar tomorrow. If financials pull back, we get some profit taking there. All right, let's take a look at industrials. Industrials pull back a little bit. Now look, it could be forming another flag, right? Pierce the upper Bollinger Band, could be looking to form out another flag formation and then go again, right? So we'll have to see how this acts tomorrow, right? We want to see it stay above the 8 EMA, which it's done for quite a while. If lost Jesse. So if the 8 EMA doesn't hold on these, then I probably would, start to scale back if I was involved there. Let's see, XLU actually held up a little bit. Kind of interesting. XLV healthcare, after yesterday's, reversal candle, did manage to show a little bit of green today, not a whole lot. I'll tell you one that I was watching was BMY. Let me see. Let's see if we can look at BMY. So I got an alert that it had broken down below this 55. So where do I want to look to maybe potentially get in BMY? On a gap fill down to 53.35. So I did start watching BMY, but it's held up. It didn't completely collapse. I'd like to see it collapse down to that 53.35 and fill the gap, but we'll see what happens. What else we got here? Consumer discretionary looks like it's flagging out, right? Big bar yesterday, almost touched the upper Bollinger Band, and then we got a little indecision spinning top candle. I'm not sure what that candle means, right? That spinning top, whatever. But it looks like it's consolidating, right? Maybe it's going to build out a little flag formation here. XME looks, energy just kind of grinding higher. Gas and exploration, same thing. Pierced the upper Bollinger Band, grinding its way back into the Bollinger Band, looking like potentially going higher. last one is XRT Retail, 5th day of the run, piercing the upper Bollinger Band. If there was a place for it to find some resistance and potentially pull back, this is it, right? This would make sense if it did from a technical standpoint. So tomorrow I am probably cautious, certainly not looking to load up on a bunch of swings heading into the weekend after this week. Probably will be looking, like I said, looking for a good trade in a reversal of those financials, seeing if there's something there. And that's it. I want to talk about this Zynga. First, I want to do something here. I want to take a look at Activision. Okay, so Activision has recently had a 4-day bounce and actually did break over this little trend line here. Got back over the 8 EMA. It looks like maybe it needs to consolidate. This is one that I've been wanting to put into my long-term hold portfolio for a long time. And, you know, it just filled the gap to 35 bucks. And it's funny because I could have swore I had an alert set at 35, but in my infinite genius wisdom, I must have decided to move that down to 33.60 because I was looking at this trend line. And actually what it did was it came down, it filled that gap at 35. I'm not sure it would have even triggered my, if I would have had a, it wouldn't have. It would have been real close. But it came down, it hit 35 and then bounced. So it's had a 4-day bounce. Let me take a look at a couple of others. Take-Two, TTWO. Okay, so Take-Two is just kind of consolidating. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the sector, right? I mean, Zynga is a gaming company. EA, I want to look at EA. EA has been in a bit of a downtrend, just had a little bounce, actually tested its 200-day moving average, bounced, but still in a short-term downtrend. And if these are the leaders of the group and in a downtrend, then it's going to be difficult for the other names in the sector to be moving higher, right? Because you're battling the sector. So Zynga, TNGA, looks a lot like Take-Two, actually. It's flirting with this price resistance at 310. I'm not going to say my issue. So, you know, Tommy was looking to take this for a few days for this trade, and for you know, just a 3-day swing or whatever. The problem is that it's had a nice little bounce. I mean, it's not a significant bounce, but it has had a bounce basically from about 277 up to 310 where it currently is. And it's got a candle completely out of the Bollinger Band, right? And just like we were saying earlier, nobody knows when a stock is going to go, right? I mean, they did have some news today. Apparently, they released a gain. You know, this is a thicker stock. It's got 671 million shares in the float, and there's 2% short interest. So there's not a big short interest there. It's not like you're going to get a big squeeze on this thing. And it's thicker. It's a thicker stock. So let's back this out to the weekly. So, you know, clearly Zynga is in a, or has been for quite some time, in a very long-term downtrend, right? And that's the dominant trend. Now, it is approaching an area of potentially, this is a big spot. I mean, you know, look back here to 2014, tried to get up through there, couldn't do it, pulled back. 2015, tried to get up through there, couldn't do it, pulled back, right? And now here we are again in 2016, trying to get up through there. We'll see if it can do it. But this is, you know, if I were going to play stock for a swing, and I'm not saying that this stock won't work, okay? What's different here than it was back here is it's flirting with the 200-day moving average. It's trying to take out the 200-day or 200-week, 200-week moving average. It's trying to take that out. It keeps hitting it, right? And it does look like there's some accumulation going on down here. There's a lot of green down here. It does look as though there's some accumulation. My problem with it is that it's had a pretty nice run already. And you've got two of the big names within the sector that don't look that great. So it could be a tough trade. You know, can you take this and expect that in 3 days it's going to go? I don't know that you can do that. I don't know that you can take this and say, gee, in 3 days, I want this to run up to 350. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen. For me, I would rather have gotten this thing on a pullback, right? That is where I would want, that's what I would, where I would want to get this thing close to $2.85, somewhere in this range where you've got a little congestion here in price, right? And that acted as resistance over here, acted as resistance. It finally popped through. And so that is where I probably would want to get involved in this thing, is somewhere around the 280 range, right? Right around the 50 EMA. Right. So, you know, and then where if I got it at that 280, where am I going to put my stop? Well, probably somewhere around 269, right? Even 265 or something like that. On the way back, I mean, basically you'd be breaking this trend line and you'd be breaking this area of price support. So 287, 265, put my stop. I'm risking 20 cents, and I'm thinking it goes back up to 310, right, to make 30 cents. The risk isn't super great there, but on the flip side, if this breaks out of that, over that 310, right? Where is the next area of potential resistance? And I'm thinking probably somewhere around $3.50. Okay, 340, 350, somewhere in that area. And then all of a sudden, the risk reward on that trade for your second target is much better, right? Now I'm risking 20 cents to potentially make, you know, 60 or 70 cents. Much better risk reward setup. So here's the deal, Tommy. I know you're going to be watching this. At least I hope you're going to watch the recording. You didn't take a lot of shares, which is good. I'm happy that you didn't take a lot of shares. And I'm not trying to scare you into selling the shares. I'm just trying to show you how I think about a potential trade. And what would have kept me out of this trade was the fact that I've got the two big players in the sector that don't have good-looking charts, and the fact that this candle is completely out of this upper Bollinger Band. So, you know, could you get this to pop in the next 3 days? It could happen. If it happens, make sure you take some profits around $3.40, okay? If it doesn't pop and it goes back to 287, I think maybe you would look at it there and say, well, do I want a dollar cost average and bring my cost average down and hold this trade to see if maybe it works out? So the last thing I'm going to do, and I appreciate you guys allowing me to do this, the last thing I'm going to do is I want to take a look at the fundamentals of ZNGA, and then we'll look at real quick the insider buying, see if there is any, right? So this is another company that Neuromax, it was funny, another company that said, hey, our product's on Amazon. Great, that's awesome. Does that mean you're going to sell a whole bunch of them? I don't know. I mean, I don't think it means that. I mean, if you could, it'd be good if you did. All right, so let's see, releases. So they released the Titans' new social mobile game, Dawn of the Titans, now available to global audiences. That's a great headline. Doesn't really mean a whole lot, right? It's a great fluffy headline. You know, if people start downloading that game like crazy and start playing it like crazy, then that'll be good. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got going on here. Total cash, $870 million. That's a lot of cash. Book value, $1.85. All right, so that's good. 34.75 or 35 million in positive cash flow. Another good statistic here. Quarterly revenue growth has been coming down, right? It was down 6%, almost 7%. Diluted earnings per share were negative 14 cents. I don't know what their debt is, so that's irritating. Float 709 million shares held by institutions. Big institutional holding, 66%. Some decent insider holding, almost 10%. I mean, that's pretty good. Percentage of float 2.66. So not a big short interest. Looks like they have positive cash flow. Looks like they have a lot of cash. So I don't know what their debt is. So probably have to check that out in the 10Q. But you know, look, from looking at this, it doesn't look like the company's going out of business, right? So worth the potential play. So let's see if we got anything going on in insider buys. Sales, right? Not a lot. Looks like tax selling. Boy, this guy here just sells the crap out of it. Dabang Shah. Sale. A lot of exempt Class A common stock. So this, you know, look, not seeing anybody in this company step up to the plate and say, gee, this is a really cheap thing and I really want to buy the crap out of it right now. Instead, you're seeing them sell it. So that, you know, isn't a great picture right there, but doesn't mean it's a bad stock. I would just like to see some big buys, right? Would make me feel better about getting involved in the stock. All right. That is that. And then we'll do okay, NVAX. I'm going to take a look at NVAX. And then, so Zynga, I'm so on the trade. You know, manage it properly. I don't know where your stop is going to be. Maybe consider adding to your position if it pulls back to 285, 280, 280 and holds. You don't want to double up your position, add 500 shares. You bought 1,000, add 500 shares. Right? Bring the dollar cost average down. If it breaks that trend line, if it breaks below 265, you got to take, in my opinion, I probably would take the loss and move on. All right, next. And it's going to take longer than 3 days to make the move. All right, so I want to bring up this stock that I threw into the room earlier, Coin. I have been watching this thing, and you know, it's an interesting. This is an interesting company. And I think this could be like I brought it up before. I think it could be an interesting acquisition target for somebody like Taser or DGLY. They have this network, this system called CopSync, and it links all news and stuff to multiple departments. And so, they just had a press release the other day. CopSync customer arrest suspects in murder of North Carolina mom and daughter. It's a subscriber-based business, and they keep, they've got like almost all of Texas. They're out of Texas. They got almost all of Texas. They're getting to the tipping point is what's happening with this company. That, if they get X amount of subscribers, they're going to go from losing money to now they're going to be making money. And I like the way this thing is, kind of bouncing between 89 cents and $1.10, right? And I went up there again today, and it's only got 7 million shares in the float, and it's in that realm that is ripping lately, right? Just did a 1-for-50 reverse split not too long ago. Only traded 92,000 shares, but this is this is one of those stocks that I like to find these things before everybody else is on them, right? And this one is got an interesting look for a potential flat top breakout. Probably going to have some resistance about $1.30 or so, right around where the 200-day moving average is. That's a good clip from where it sits, right? That's a 30% move. If it takes out $1.30, man, we get up to maybe $1.60, $1.50, somewhere in that area. Maybe we had a little double bottom here, right? And I think this one is worth having on your radar. So put it on your darn radar. And I might be looking at nabbing this thing somewhere in this area, right around $1.95, whatever. Or not $1.95, 95 cents, 90 cents, somewhere in there. I might have to just start dipping my toe and building a position. That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, let's see if we got anything moving here after market. Oh no, let's look at NAVB or NVAX. Let's look at that, NVAX. What is it with this thing, man? All right. Whew. What the hell killed this thing? It must have had a failed drug, right? I mean, it had to have had bad news. I mean, that's a huge gap on the daily to fill. I don't know if it's going to do it, but something bad happened here for sure. 28% short interest. Could this be a good day trade? Possibly. You got to be careful, A1, with these biotechs, man. All right, be careful with these things. All right, because I don't know what the story is here, but obviously this had something really bad happen real recently here. Could it be a day trade? Potentially. Let's see. Let me see what they got here. 300 million in, yeah. So look, man, book value on this thing, 18 cents, total cash, 300 million, total debt, 300 million, burning through 300 million a year. So, you know, 252 million shares in the float, almost 30% short interest. So could this get a day trade, scalp, you know, pop over 150, maybe go up to 170 where there's some resistance? Yeah, it could. You know, but is this a stock I would hold overnight? I would not hold the stock overnight. You know, they're probably going to need to raise cash. Oh, Bristol Myers just raised their dividend from 38 to 39 cents a share. So, I mean, could this be a day trade? It could be. Right, watch list only. I get it. You know, there's probably better opportunities out there, better setups out there. UAN, I did try to, you know, look, I wanted it today, but it did not cooperate. Now it's piercing the upper Bollinger Band. It's bumping up against the 100 EMA, so it's just really not, unless it pulls back to $5 or $4.95, like A1 said yesterday. You know, I'm probably just gonna have to say I missed this sucker. That whack, that was, whether it was Peter or Russell, whoever put it on my radar. What a move that thing had today. Over $6, and I don't know how. I mean, it went up and it more than filled the gap. Actually went up to $8 and pulled back right into price resistance and pulled back. But pretty nice little move in that whack. I wish I would have seen that earlier. How many shares are in the 14 million shares, 31% short interest. So now what was resistance, maybe that becomes support, 650, right? On a pullback to 650, 640. See if that becomes support. It could be an interesting place to take it. ISIL approves merger with, okay. I'm going to see if anything else is moving here. IRIX just did announced a public offering of common stock, so that's getting a little hit. I wish people weren't having such problems with this join me. I mean, we got like, I don't know what's going on with Peter. He's like disappeared. He's not coming to these things at all anymore. Let's see. So IRIX pulling back, triple top, and down $1 after announcing the public offering. Got to see what that price is at. Very fast dividend. All right, let's see. See what else is cooking here. Navi, NAVI, announces 600 million share buyback. And we've talked about these share buybacks before. You know, I don't look at those as, you know, big reason to go out and buy the stock. 264 million shares in the float. Does look like they're making money. Does have a gap to fill on the daily. And if I was the company, I would be saying, thanks, A1. I appreciate that, man. If I was this company, where would I want to buy this stock? Where would I want to buy back my stock? I would want to buy back my stock at a gap fill. I would want to buy it back down here around the 200-day moving average, right? Fill this gap, and I'm going to probably start buying back our stock. I mean, am I going to buy it after it just had this run? I wouldn't. I mean, if I was the CFO, I'd be like, no, man, wait till that gap fills, or at least pulls back to $15 or something. So, I mean, yeah, it's nice that they got a $600 million buyback program. They're not going to do that tomorrow. They're going to do it when it makes sense to do it. And where it would make sense to do You're right around here, 1359 or so, 1360. Announced share, or actually we'll do now 600 million share buyback December. Just put that note on there in case this thing pops, gets my attention, whatever. But this would be really the place I'd want to start looking at it. All right, let's see what else we got going on. BNY, we already saw that. Rosgen, Genomics files for this company. When I first started day trading, just to share with you guys, Rosgen. When I didn't know any better, I didn't know anything better about biotechs, and this is way back when. I'll go back to the weekly on this thing. Way back when, probably somewhere back here, this thing had this crazy ass run from $3 up to 24 bucks. Just had this crazy run. And I kept watching this stock because I kept waiting for a repeat of this run that it had, because it had it a couple of times, right? Did a reverse split and had a big run, did a reverse split, had a big run. And I kept trying to trade this thing. I mean, it's had runs. This thing was like the devil to me. Every freaking time I took that stock, I lost money. Every single time. And they just diluted the crap out of shareholders on a regular basis, right? And it hasn't changed. I mean, I don't know how these companies can do it, man. I don't know how they can do it. They just continue. I mean, who wants to buy this thing after you just get your face kicked in 80,000 times, right? 80,000 times. Why would you? Who's left to buy this stock? I mean, management has got to be so stupid that, they just delete the shit out of the shareholders over and over again. And here they are doing it again, right? Deleting the crap out of shareholders. I mean, is this company ever going to make money? Ever going to make money? Right? I mean, ever? No, apparently not. They're never going to make money. They're just going to use the shares as an ATM to pay themselves. So, I mean, you don't learn that stuff, man, until you go through some of those things. But, this is a devil stock. This is a devil stock. I will never trade this stock. I don't care. I shouldn't say never. I might take a day trade if it does another reverse split and gets down to 700,000 shares, and they come out with some fluff PR, I might take it like I did that one today for a quick scalp in and out. But that would be about it. All right, Reuters citing this news here, Pandora. This could actually be good for Sirius in a weird way, right? I'm going off here. We've been on for an hour. I don't mean to take you guys out or keep you on for so long. Sprint, I don't know. Oh, that was an accident. So I brought up Sprint. Piercing the upper Bollinger Band. Looks like it's going to try and put in a flag. Work its way back into the Bollinger Band. Tick stock. 24% short interest. But I'm not interested in Sprint. P. So, this article, by saying that Spotify has abandoned the attempt to buy SoundCloud because maybe SoundCloud is asking too much money or something, right? That could actually be good for Sprint or for Sirius, because maybe that's suggesting that this space they're just asking ridiculous valuations, right? P has had this big pop off of the speculation that it might get bought. And Sirius had the big drop because speculation that they were going to be the buyer. Now look at where this stock has gone back. It's almost back up to where it was, right? I mean, that candle was an opportunity. And, oh, you did? I'm sorry, DK. I'm bringing up bad. I'm sorry about that. I did not know. Anyway, you look at where where Sirius is heading back to, and I think that it was an overreaction on something that is an if, a maybe, right? They might try to buy Pandora, but if Pandora wants too much money for their company, they're not going to buy them. I mean, one thing I know about John Malone, and John Malone owns a big piece, which is Liberty Media, a big piece of Sirius. He does not overpay for companies, bottom line. He doesn't overpay. He likes to buy things on sale. He was the hero for Sirius, you know, loaned him, I think, $15 million or something and acquired 40% of Sirius Satellite Radio by saving them at a bad time when we had the financial collapse, right? That's how he got, you know, he's made billions off of loaning them, I think, $15 million. It was some crazy ass amount and got like 40% of the company for doing it. So that's how John Malone rolls. There is no way he is going to pay top dollar for Pandora. He's just not going to do it. So that's my thought there. I wish I would have bought more shares of Sirius down here. I wish I would have done more, but I took half the position thinking that it might go lower and I was going to double up. All right, let's see. CXW, this got a late day pop. Nobody knows why. And the company, they did call the company to get a comment. They refused to give a comment. Now it's testing this 200-day moving average. Get some follow through. Wait a minute. Correction. Oh, 28 minutes ago. No, whatever. Director sold 1,750 shares. This looks like I don't know what this is. Planned sale. They're all the same. All of these guys are selling the same 1,750 shares. I don't know what that's all about. Looks like planned sales. They still have a good chunk of shares left. Maybe that's for taxes. Who knows? Could get some through. It's within the Bollinger Band. It's flirting with the 200 days. See if it does anything tomorrow. See if we get any follow through. Yeah, Sirius was a penny stock, 2009. IDXG is getting. Oh wait, I'm looking in the right spot. IDXG. $1.24. All right, so you know I don't have that 100. I don't have that 100 shares set to sell after market. It's I'm just going to wind up holding it into tomorrow. Hey, maybe it'll gap up a couple of bucks tomorrow. That'd be cool. Make a couple $100 off of it. That'd be really cool. It was a hell of a trader, man. The volume, again, volume, right? Massive volume, and that's what kept me glued to it, right? It was, even though I do believe this company is going to raise capital, right? It looks like they need cash, so they're probably going to raise capital, and you know, maybe they get another day out of this, but I would not be surprised to see these guys raise capital soon, right? And then $1.30 is kind of where I'm thinking it's going to have some resistance. We'll see. We'll see what this does tomorrow, man. I mean, has had some pretty good runs. Maybe it goes up and tests $2 tomorrow. That'd be cool. Right? All right. That's it, guys. I don't see anything else really. Do you? Anybody see anything? Dry ships. Yeah. Dry ships. Yeah. Go to 100. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. All right. A1, I appreciate the fact that you guys appreciate. The bottom line is I just hope that you guys are learning and it's helping you become better traders. If not, then I'm failing at what I've set out to do. And that, you know, that's my, I want this to work for everybody that becomes a member. That's my goal, man. Okay, cool. All right, guys, thanks for hanging with me. I'll see you in the morning with the pre-market prep. And hopefully we can find, now remember, the financials, that candle out of the lower Bollinger Band, that could be interesting. Maybe if we get a red or a green to red, that could be worth watching tomorrow for a little trade. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a fantastic evening.